Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Tommy, and today I'm gonna show you this all-in-one custom workbench that I've built. And whether you've been here before or this is your very first time, welcome to 1 Minute Workbench. So I don't have the space for a full-size shop in my garage. And that means I have to set up my tools in order to start a new project. And the longer it takes me to get set up, the less likely I am to even start a project. So a few years back, I designed the 1 Minute Workbench version 1, and that was really great, and it's still actually a really good option if you have to travel to a job site, say. But around the house and around my garage, I didn't need that sort of portability. So I came up with this version 2 of the 1 Minute Workbench, which is actually even faster and easier to use than version 1. So the single biggest feature of this workbench is how it integrates so many different tools all around this nice flat top surface, and how fast it lets you get started on a project, of course. So when the workbench is in its storage position, it actually takes up no more room than the tools themselves would take up if you just had them stacked on shelves. And you can roll it out and get started on a project in under a minute. The design of the workbench keeps the top nice and flat, and the high quality locking casters make it to where the workbench rolls really easily, and when they're locked, it keeps the top surface really solid and really stable. So there's a spot for your table saw, and the main surface of the workbench doubles as an outfeed table for the table saw. I have a 12-inch DeWalt miter saw on this pull-out shelf, and the drawer slides for this shelf are rated for over 100 pounds. So there's a compartment under the table saw that houses a 3-gallon pancake compressor, and even though these little oilless compressors can be pretty darn loud, the compartment keeps it so quiet that you actually don't even need hearing protection while it's running. This ring right here allows me to operate the quick release valve from the outside without ever having to go inside the compartment. And this coiled hose always stays attached, and that allows me to connect into my nailers and other accessories. And I actually keep all my nailers and so forth in these built-in compartments. Another compartment around the backside holds a shop vac, and these cutouts allow the hose to route through and connect either the table saw or the miter saw. And then I've got this twin screw vise on the end. It was really easy to build. It literally only cost about $8 to make. It has great clamping strength and can hold really wide boards. I thought about adding holes in the top to make it easier to clamp things down, but then I came up with the idea to add these holes, one in each of the 4 corners, and that's worked out just fine. And these flat faces along the perimeter have made it really easy to clamp up larger pieces of material. I had intended on putting a bay of drawers in this cabinet space here, but while I was using the workbench, I always found myself looking for a place to set things down other than the main top surface. So instead, I added this shelf here so I could set down, like my hand planes or bottles of glue, that sort of thing. And that's been more beneficial, I think, than having a drawer. I did add one drawer in here though, and that allows me quick access to the small hand tools I use the most often. Underneath the miter saw shelf and kind of all around the base, there's plenty of storage for my bigger hand tools like my drills, my router, and my skill saw. I also added this shallow tray to give me quick access to any small tools I would be picking up and setting down really often, like a tape measure or a pencil. This tray has turned out to be really handy, and it's actually one of my favorite features of the workbench. Underneath the tray is a power supply for all the tools. It's a heavy-duty 15-amp plug strip with individual buttons. It allows me to operate power for all the devices from a single location. It's especially useful for turning on the vacuum when I'm about to use one of the saws. I'd say the biggest limitation of the workbench is that the miter saw is not at an optimal height. So I had considered building the miter saw on a flip up sort of thing that would allow me to keep the miter saw at full height when it was in use. But I bounce back and forth so much between my miter saw and my table saw that if I had done that, I would constantly be needing to flip the miter saw up to use it and then flip it down so that it wouldn't be in the way of the outfeed from the table saw. And I thought it might bother me having the miter saw lower than an optimal height, but it's actually high enough that it's pretty comfortable for me, and it really hasn't bothered me at all. I think the second biggest limitation is that I didn't fully account for the motor on the miter saw when I set the level of the shelf. So basically what happens is I get full rotation when I'm trying to make an angled cut, I get full rotation when I rotate the saw all the way to the left side. But when I rotate the saw all the way to the right, the motor crashes with the cabinet housing. And in actuality, I still get full rotation to the right if I just lower the miter saw a little bit. The only way that this would ever prevent you from making a cut you wanted to make is if you rotated it all the way to the right and you couldn't lower it because you were cutting a board that was so tall that you couldn't even lower it, you know, an inch or two. I could lower the shelf to fix that problem, but in 2 years of using the Workbench and having the miter saw at this level, I've never once encountered a cut that I wanted to make that I wasn't able to make. And again, in 2 years, it hasn't been a problem. I used cheap construction grade plywood from one of the big box stores. I used 2 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood and 2 sheets of 1/2 inch plywood, along with high quality heavy duty casters and various wood screws, glue, and brad nails. 3/4 inch plywood is used for the top, the base, and any runners that support the top or the base. 1/2 inch plywood is used for the walls. 1/2 inch is plenty strong enough for these upright walls, and using thinner material helps keep the weight down. I put 3 coats of polyurethane across almost every single surface of the Workbench, and then I put about 20 coats of polyurethane on the top. So the polyurethane really helps to keep the Workbench clean. It makes it to where the sawdust isn't as likely to stick to the walls, and when it comes time to vacuum it up or blow it off, the sawdust comes right off. The Workbench is pretty cheap, especially considering everything it does, and this is the breakdown for what it cost. The Workbench is designed to be easy to build, all with straight cuts and simple holes. Basically, if you have these tools right here, you should be able to build the Workbench. It's also a pretty quick build. Basically, I would say make all your cuts on one day and then do the assembly on another day. I guess if money was no object, then I probably would have built it out of Baltic birch plywood. But again, if money was no object, then I'd probably have a huge shop, and I never would have thought of a space-saving, time-saving Workbench like this one. I designed the Workbench to be compatible with compact-style table saws and miter saws, and a wide variety of small 3-gallon pancake-style compressors and small shop vacs. Here are the dimensions for the space available for different tools. I'm only going to leave it up for a couple of seconds, so pause the video if you need to. And here's a list of the saws that I'm sure the Workbench is compatible with. Again, I'm only going to leave it up for a couple seconds, so pause the video if you need to. Over time, this list will grow, and as it grows, I'll keep an updated version of it in the comment section below. If you want to build one of these Workbenches for yourself, you can buy the plans at my website. The plans are very detailed and will guide you step by step. The plans are also written so that you can customize the Workbench for your table saw. When it comes to the outfeed table, you want it to be slightly lower than your table saw, and that makes it to where when material is exiting the table saw, it doesn't get hung up on the edge. In order to accomplish that, you have to customize a couple pieces of the Workbench. To make it easy for you, I've created a sizing chart. You just measure the height of your table saw, and then the chart will show you the custom dimensions that you need. So that's it for this video. I'd love to hear your suggestions in the comments section below, or if you have any quick questions you want answered, hit me up on Facebook or on Twitter at 1 Minute Workbench. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, I hope you have fun building something.